to do a full reaction to Tottenham's collapse as they blew a 2-goal lead to Brighton. Um, to Brighton. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tottenham found themselves 2-0 up through goals in the first half from Brendan Johnson and James Maddison before in a span of 18 minutes 18 minutes in the second half, in which they concede 3 goals and they find themselves from up 2-0 to down 3-2 in the span of 18 minutes. Unbelievable game, really pleasing to watch. Enjoyed it. Not pleasing, actually. Pleasing is when I mean pleasing to watch. Obviously, I'm not talking about it was pleasing to see Tottenham lose, which is, not the worst thing in the world to see. But when I mean pleasing, it's really fabulous game. Exciting to watch. I thought both teams played some really good football, and it was a good showing for Premier League. I believe this was the late game on Saturday. So it was a good showing for the Premier League. It really was. But yeah, Brighton, they Danny Welbeck, he sealed the 3-2 win with the third goal. And yeah, so Brendan Johnson, James Maddison, they gave Spurs the lead, who, as always, played scintillating football and completely dominated that first half. Was up 2-0. Could have been more. You could argue should have been more. Completely outclassed Tottenham. The frustrating thing is Tottenham overall, they play such good football. And their expected goals gotta be up there in the league when it comes to, gotta be top 3. They just dominate everybody in periods of the game. They completely dominate everyone. But yeah, the game, fell upside down, and we know Tottenham and their really, really high line that they play was Postecoglou, incredibly high. No looking back sort of defending. And it turned upside down when Tottenham's defense really fell apart in that 18-minute span. Yankuba Minta, he pulled the goal back 3 minutes after the start of the second half. And then Georgino Rutter, he was able to equalize with a close range finish. Then Welbeck, he was able to head home Brighton's third goal after, again, more mediocre defending by Tottenham. Just mediocre defending. The thing that's getting Tottenham killed this season is 2 things. It's lacking cutting edge in the attack, which is something that they've started to fix over the last few games or so. I believe this is now they scored multiple goals in their last 6 games this season. After the first 4 rough games to the season, they've scored at least 2 goals in the last 6 games. They're starting to generate more goals. They got 3 goals past Karabakh, played the entire game with Tottenham. They got 3 goals past United at Old Trafford. They got 3 goals past Brentford. They went away at Ferencváros, played primarily a second team. They were able to get 2 goals past Tottenham. Here today, they dominated that first half. They got 2 goals. But earlier on, they lacked that real cutting edge. And also the second thing is, defensively, they're daft. They make mistakes. They play a really, really high line, and it can get them caught out, especially early on. Especially in that loss to Newcastle, they would completely dominate that game. And then out of nowhere, Newcastle would score a goal. Both goals came extremely against the run of play. Now, you can't really say these goals came against the run of play because they happened early in the start of the second half. And once that first goal came from Yankuba Minta, the pressure started mounting. And you saw that from Tottenham too when they played against Leicester early on. The first 65 minutes, they're completely dominating the game. One moment goes against them, Leicester score, and then they're on the back foot. They're getting pressured for the next 10-15 minutes. The mentality for Tottenham is not good enough. Once that first moment comes where their lead, starts getting threatened, they fall apart. It is almost it is the history of Tottenham, to quote Kia Lady. It is the history of Tottenham just falling apart. The mentality, and I don't understand how the club has the same issues over and over again. It just seems like You could put any player on this Tottenham team. You can't take the badge away from them. Once the Tottenham badge gets on, there's a certain mentality. It's a weak mentality. Um, by the way, this is Brighton's first win in 5 league games. And it moves them above Spurs now in sixth place with 12 points from 7 games, which is not the worst start. Again, I say this all the time, but this is a Brighton team led by Fabian Hursler, but there's an unknown element to them because we haven't really seen Fabian Hursler at this level. He's never managed top flight football, so I didn't know what we can expect. I didn't know what type of play, what style of play would see from Brighton. I think Brighton, it's a little bit of mix with Brighton, Some games that they're able to be on the back foot, other games that they're able to, play football, and they're able to balance it really, really well. And they play some good football as well. They get numbers forward. They play with bravery, even going up against, perceived better opposition in Tottenham. And Ange Postecoglou, the first few games he was getting criticized. Then, the criticism started slowly minting away with the results that they were getting. But this is the sort of loss that the criticism can wrap around because the defensive issues is still there. That stubbornness about them, even when they have that 2-goal lead, to not drop the back for just even 5 yards. You go down to 10 men, 9 men. Just drop it down 5 yards. The stubbornness element to him, it's what makes a manager so great. Can also sort of be the end of a manager that can that can put a manager to the ground, and and get fired. And I'm not saying he should be, and there's some people that say that, but I'm not saying he should be under pressure or he should make serious changes and all that. But there's some moments where you're up 2-0, you're starting off the second half, you're playing this game away at Brighton. There's no issue dropping your back line just 5-10 yards. You're defending a 2-goal lead, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to play the game in your half now, play defensive and not be able to play. No, but you don't have to be full throttle. Still at the halfway line, make yourself extremely vulnerable for the ball in behind. Especially in periods where, once that goal came earlier from Brighton in that second half from Yakuba Minta and you made it 2-1, especially, there's certain periods that you might, you might be in a struggling period. Why not have the sense of awareness for just 10-15 minutes? Just keep the center halves together. Keep the fullbacks drop down. Move the line back just 5 to 10 yards, just for 10 minutes. Tell the holding midfielder, don't move, just stay in front of the center halves, just for 5-10 minutes, just to see it out, just to ease the pressure, just to get more control of the game, and then slowly make your way back forward and start getting back to the football that's embedded in the system, in the minds and the psyches of what Postecoglou has done to these Tottenham players. There needs to be better in-game adjustments and in-game decision making, and sometimes it comes from the leadership on the pitch as well. Sometimes it's up to who's the most experienced person in that back line. Probably Christian Romero. They are pretty young. That is a pretty young line. Pedro Porro. I think he's 25 or so. Van de Ven is 23. Udogi is, I believe he's 21. Christian Romero, he's 26. He's a World Cup winner. He's the experienced, center half. He's not really, he's not an old 31, 32-year-old or anything, but he has that experience. He's that World Cup winner. Why doesn't he tell Bentancur, just stay right here. Just stay here. Just stay here for 5-10 minutes. Don't move. Van de Ven, Udogi, Porro, drop back 10 yards. Let's observe. Let's just ease our way into it now. We're down 2-1, we're only up 2-1. The pressure's starting to rack up. Let's make it easier for ourselves, and then we'll slowly get back to playing the football that we're playing. There's not that awareness. And it's something that they have to adjust over this international break because, now, there's expectation now with Tottenham. They were that acute team last year. Now they're expected to be in there, that battle for top 4. So, Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them after the international break. But yeah, overall, it's a horrible loss for them. It really is.